Hey everyone, this is Jason Carpenter, host of Dead Rabbit Radio. What you're about to listen to is a bonus episode. What this is, it's a segment I recorded for an episode that was running too long. Also, this story had nothing to do with anything else in the episode. But in the end, it made the episode too long, so I decided to cut it out. However, I did think it was entertaining and interesting. Definitely interesting to law enforcement. I'm sure they would love to listen to this segment. You know, the statute of limitations has ended on any crimes you'll ever hear me talk about. That's not really a crime in this story. I mean, unless threatening another person with grievous bodily harm is a crime. But in what world is that illegal? I think it's a fun segment, and I wanted to go ahead and share it with you. So strap in for this bonus episode of Jason Carpenter, Human Hunter. Speaking of hell, actually, I want to do a little bit of a segue here. Recently, I talked about it on the show. I think someone in my friend's neighborhood is trapping cats, not to spay or neuter them, right? Jason, this episode's already depressing enough. Are you going to start talking about the cat killer in the neighborhood again? Well, I finally left a post on Facebook. That's how us boomers interact with each other, right? If I lived in a college community, I would have posted a TikTok or an Instagram meme or something like that. It's just a sad face. It's Nikki from Obsession making a sad face and a bunch of trapped cats AI'd in the background. I posted it on Facebook. Who's trapping the cats? And yeah, other people have again, is it trolls, right? Who knows, but other people have said, yeah, I've noticed cats missing as well in that same area. So there might actually be something to that. Now, it's funny, when I wrote the post, I didn't know it had to be approved by a moderator of the Hood River group. But here's the thing. I was definitely originally going to be more threatening. When I was thinking about what I was going to write, I was going to say, hey, someone's hurting the cats in the area. And if I find you, and I will eventually find you somehow, that's a bit of who knows if I ever would, right? I forget about it a couple weeks from now. I was like, oh yeah, wasn't I supposed to be on some blood vendetta? Oh, whatever. I originally was going to write, hey, listen, if I find you, I'm going to find you eventually, and I'm going to see how you like it. I'm going to build a human-sized trap. And he's like, I won't go into it. I was like, I'll just push you into it. I was going to say, something along the lines, obviously. It wasn't verbatim, but I was thinking this. I go, what I would do to you is I'm going to take a claw hammer, and I'm going to pop out one of your kneecaps. Right? That's a bit of an escalation. I mean, cats are cool and all. Doesn't mean that gives you carte blanche to cripple a man for life. Yeah, but I didn't write that. Here's the thing. That's how I was feeling. That may be what actually ends up happening to this dude. I don't know. I can't see into the future. But I go, I'm not going to post that online. Obviously, if a future employer is like, oh, I wonder what this Jason guy's been up to. Oh, apparently he loves maiming humans. I did end it with, I said, stop. Stop before I find you, was the end of the statement. I said, whoever's doing this, stop before I find you. I kind of left it, veiled, but threatening enough. If I find out who's doing this, I might be in my own true crime segment. Another podcast may cover the cat vigilante. I'm actually going to dress up in a cat suit, and I'm going to hide, and I'm going to walk around town. You're like, that's a crime, I'm pretty sure. No, it's actually not. You're allowed to dress up as animals and walk around town. But instead of claws on my hands, I'm going to have tiny claw hammers, and I'm going to be attacking people's kneecaps willy-nilly. I mean, eventually, there's only 10,000 people who live in town, or the county. Eventually, that's 20,000 kneecaps. That's possible, right? You could de-knee 10,000 people. I get bored. I'm like, oh, this is way too much work. I didn't know the human muscle system was so strong. Anyways, what type of monster? Listen, I can understand if someone was trapping cats for humane reasons, right? Trapping cats and having them have these procedures done, having them spayed or neutered. But if you're trapping cats just to maim them or kill them, stop. Stop before I find you. So anyways, we'll see if anything comes of that. I did think, I was like, I made that threat, and then I go, listen, when I was younger, when I was a young man in my 20s, 100%, I could track this guy down. I mean, I could still do it today. I probably could find out where the guy lives. I'm assuming it's a guy, but who knows? Could be a woman. But when I was younger, man, I could take care of it. I'd show up at the dude's house and, I'd take care of it. But as an older man, I'm like, oh, man. The guy's like, it's me, anti-cat man. You're the cat man, and I'm anti-cat man. I was like, that's not really a good villain name, but anyways, he calls himself, what's that disease that kills a bunch of cats? Diverticulitis or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little seed, and I'm gonna go into your intestines. I'm all, no. Parvo killed puppies, so he can't be Prince Parvo. But I'm sure there's some disease that cats get. Annie was riddled with them last week. Oh, he could be respiratory illness man. But anyways, the point is that when I was younger, I'd show up to people's houses all the time. It was like a normal Tuesday. Hey, Jason, what are you doing? I got the day off work. I have to go show up at some dude's house and stop him from doing something. Stop him from calling the police. He knows about my string of assaults that I vaguely cloud in the idea of vigilantism. I just like beating people up. But now that I'm older, it's like, I gotta, stalk this guy. You know how much work it takes to stalk a man? It takes a lot, honestly. I remember once I was very proud of the fact I was telling one of my brothers, I go, I've never stalked a woman before. My brother's like, oh, that's pretty good. Most people don't have to say that out loud. But you obviously do. I go, I've never stalked a woman before. And he goes, and a good thing, right? I don't, what's the point of that? And he goes, oh, that's good. And then I go, I've hunted several men. And he's like, yeah, I figured that second part was coming. Because I know you've... Jason, wait a second. Why are you following men home? Is there something else going on here? No, people, do something. There's something that vaguely pisses me off, and then I make this big deal out of it. Try to cloak it in the sense of righteous violence, then, show up at your house. But, I can't do that anymore. I turned 50 in a couple months. My back hurts. I'm just sitting here. I'm recording a podcast. It's one of the laziest hobbies you can have. Physically, at least. Mentally, it takes a lot of work. I'm like, oh, my back hurts. Now, obviously, if I saw someone hurting a kid, are you going to get to the hell story? Maybe. I don't know, actually, at this point. I might throw another story in that's a little more lighthearted. Rather than the child trafficking, the guy trapped in hell, which is a great story. You might save that for tomorrow, but, now that I'm older, it's like, I thought about that, what would I reasonably be able to do in a situation? When I was younger, some guy pissed me off. I don't even remember what the beef was over. I think it was over a girl, and it wasn't like we were romantically involved. I think he just pissed off a girl or something like that. I don't remember. A friend of mine. This girl was a good, close friend of mine, but I don't remember what set the events in motion. But I remember what ended it. I made this proclamation throughout town. I told people, all of my friends and acquaintances, that if you find this guy, you just have to tell him. You just have to tell him a message. I'm not asking you to beat him up. I'm not asking you to drug him or tie him up and deliver him to me. If you guys are willing to do that, that would be amazing. That would really clear my calendar. But I'd say this. I told people this all the time. This thing went on for a couple months. I said, you need to tell him that if I ever catch him, I'm going to cut out his liver and make him eat it. And, which is, obviously that's like how that's logistically, he's dying. He doesn't have a liver in him. He's like, I'm like, eat this. You have to do the second part. He's like, I'm dying. Take him to the hospital. Can you put this liver into an IV and have it injected right into his mouth? It's a ridiculous threat. But anyways, people go, well, if anyone, that is a ridiculous threat. If anyone's capable of at least attempting it, it's Jason. I told people, I go, hey, listen, because it kept going on and on, It was this, I would say it was this back and forth thing. It was mostly just a fourth thing. Listen, he didn't do anything horrible to the girl, right? It was no sexual crime or anything like that. I don't even remember what started the whole thing. And then I just kept attacking him, basically. And so he started to avoid me like a normal person would do. I don't know if I ever put hands on him, but, there's other ways. And because he was quite wily, I had a really hard time pinning him down. And I said, okay, listen, here's the thing. If you run into this guy, you're going to have to tell him that if Jason told me to tell you this, if he runs into you, he's going to cut your liver out and make you eat it. And the second part of that is, if I would tell my friends this, I go, you have to deliver that message. If you happen to run into him, right? I'm not saying go to his front door. We all knew where he lived, right? But I go, so you go, well, Jason, if you know where the guy lived, why didn't you just go there? You got to be careful, right? Because he lived with a bunch of other dudes. You have to kind of figure out where you're going to go after people. But, and I had to do it discreetly enough in the beginning so it didn't blow back on the girl. But eventually it just got so out of hand. I was like, listen, friend, you're going to have to kind of take a back seat on this one. Now this is personal. Now this is between me and him. But anyway, I'd say tell this dude that tell this guy if you see him, hey, Jason says if he ever runs into you, he's going to cut your liver out and make you eat it. And if I find out, I'd tell my friends this, if I find out that you ran into him and you didn't deliver that message, I'm going to cut your liver out and make you eat it too. I'll make you guys eat each other's livers. It'll be a weird homoerotic scene involving lots of livers. I'd say if I find out that you ran into this guy, you didn't deliver the message, now you're going to face some serious problems. I hope you can live without a liver. I hope you're a cyborg and don't need human organs. Well, anyways, to make a long story short, I thought it was super funny because I ran into that guy one other time after this. Because, people took the threat seriously. It's not as ridiculous as it sounds. It's, it was in my 20s, right? I was a crazy guy. So, there obviously, we all go to these parties. It's all neighborhood stuff, right? And then I ran into this one guy one time after all. He disappeared after, because people were telling him because they didn't want to have their livers removed. I'm sure he got 20 phone calls that day from people going, hey, man, I just want to get this off my chest so Jason will never eat my liver or make me eat it, whatever the threat was. I kind of started peeing my pants halfway through. I didn't really pay attention to the second part. But anyways, buddy, don't run into Jason. So anyways, what happened was, I thought this was funny. This was back in my drinking days. I don't drink no more. This is my 20s. My boy invites me to a party. He's like, yo, you got to roll through here. We're having this big party. I was like, cool. Or nowadays I would have said, bet. And so I head over there. I think someone drove, because obviously I was plastered out of my mind when I got to the party. And I wouldn't be driving drunk. A buddy of mine's driving me to this party. Now, what I didn't know was that dude I was looking for was at that party. And he found out. Someone just said, yo, Jason's... because, they did not know this. All of this liver eating thing was months ago. But I'm still looking for the guy. And they're at this party. It was at an apartment complex on the second floor. I found out all this stuff later on. Someone there was like, yo, dude, guess what? Jason's coming on through. Because, I was a cool guy to hang out with. I oddly had a huge selection of meats. I always had delicious meats. Everyone was like, oh, Jason, the meat man. I don't know where he keeps getting these delicious liver-shaped treats. Someone goes, yo, guess what, dude? Jason's rolling on through. People are like, oh, yeah. Except for that dude. That dude started panicking. And he's like, oh my God, Jason's coming? And my buddy, who was the host of that party, was like, yeah, Jason's coming. He's like, I'm pretty sure he's going to murder me. He's been threatening his own friends, trying to tell people he's going to murder me. And my friend's like, no, dude, don't worry about it. Like, it's possible that you may get murdered tonight, sure, but unlikely. Just sit and hang out. And the guy was drinking too, so you couldn't just let him leave. But it wasn't just that. So apparently, I found out all this after the fact. This dude was sweating so hard that I was showing up that he wanted to leave. But they didn't know how close I was to the party. By the time it was announced, they didn't know how close I actually was to the apartment. For all they knew, I was pulling up outside. So my friend had to physically restrain him from jumping off the second floor balcony of the apartment complex. He's like, I gotta get out of here. Jason's going to eat my liver. And I have a liver transplant coming up. I guess that might speed along the process if I went into the hospital with no liver. But I need it for now. My buddy and a couple other people are like, yo, dude, calm down. I'm pretty sure you can live without a liver. Actually, they go, listen, man, if anything, Jason has been looking for you. That is true. And it probably won't go super well, but there's a chance that he totally won't even care that you're here. That's a pretty big chance, right? The guy who's been traveling around town doing conferences, doing TED Talks about how much he wants to destroy you. Anyways, so my boy's like, yo, don't let him jump off the balcony. Like, whatever happens, Jason's not going to throw him off a balcony. Jason's not going to make you eat his own liver. Maybe you guys get in a fist fight in the middle of this apartment, whatever. So anyways, that I found all that later, because what happened was I walked into that party and I was so drunk, I didn't recognize him. In fact, I was very cordial towards him, because I think part of my brain did recognize him, but I couldn't place the face. So I figured he was a friend. I was like, yo, what's up? I came in, obviously I'm really loud, gregarious when I'm drunk. And I walk in, I'm like, yo, everybody, what's up? It's me, man. It's me, man. Time. Look at all these delicious livers I have. The dude sweating even harder. I showed up. I was like, yo, what's up? What's up? And I see him. And I was like, yo, what's up, dude? Oh, man, it's been forever. And da-da-da-da-da. And so, again, like my buddy who was the host, I was super drunk. I was totally unaware. He goes, that dude was terrified when you walked up to him, yelling at the top of your lungs, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? And he goes, and then you were just like the nicest guy to him. And I'm sitting, my friend told me this like maybe a week later. I laughed. I thought it was funny. I go, yeah, he was afraid of me, and I came in super drunk, and he's trapped in a 2-story apartment. Totally didn't even recognize him. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, dude, that guy you'd been looking for all this time, he was sitting on the couch, and you didn't even do anything. And I go, well, how did other people think? Like, did it make me look like a wimp, a weenie? Because I didn't, immediately maul this man. My buddy's like, no, I mean, everyone knew you were drunk. And honestly, I think a lot of people just figured it was water under the bridge anyways. Like, yeah, you did threaten his life multiple times, and you actually did do things to him. I mean, obviously, there's statute of limitations for crimes, yes. But, I mean, nothing too crazy. I mean, it obviously made him terrified to be around me, but, nothing that's super insane. Hijinks, I would say. We had some close calls in that situation, but as far as like getting caught, because we were trying to do what we could without getting caught. But anyways, it's just that it was interesting making out all those threats. Obviously, telling a man, if you trap cats, if you hurt cats, I'm going to pull your kneecaps out. The problem is with that, it's a threat that's, first off, nowadays, you write a threat online, you can get in a lot of trouble versus just telling the entire town one by one. And the other thing is, like, at age 50, how would I logistically remove a man's kneecaps? I understand how to do it in theory, but to actually hold a screaming man down, right there, right? That's asking a lot of a 50-year-old. You're like, Jason, you act like you're 80. Yeah, but my back hurts. So it's like, now I'm like pulling up a chair. I'm like, hey, hold on. Continue to cower in the corner, screaming in terror as I look around. Oh, look at that recliner. It looks nice. I drag it over to him. I go, okay, here we go. But also same thing with pulling out somebody's liver. That'd be pretty hard too. I don't even know. To be honest, I don't even know what side of the body the liver's on. I was like, oh, screw it. Now you're just going to eat your spleen. I've already opened up this side. It's like a gusher. You take a bite, blood goes everywhere. You don't need a spleen to live, bud. Let's just go ahead and call it even. So let's go ahead, though. We're not going to do the hell story. I got another story to kind of lighten the mood, in case this episode is ever played during my kneecap removal trial, or a civil case that guy files against me after all these years for threatening him and now laughing about it. Blitz Neo, we're going to leave hell. We'll come back there tomorrow. Why don't you fly us all the way out to a house in anywhere USA? The year's 2012. We're about to meet a young girl. Don't have her real name. We're going to call her Allie. She's in the 4th grade. And in the 4th grade, she moves into this apartment with her single mother. Oh, yes, Allie. Look at this amazing apartment. Isn't this great? And Allie's like, yeah, it's pretty good. So there you go. That was the bonus episode. You're all like holding your livers in. You're like, oh no. Make sure we don't have liver for dinner. Jason might be coming over. Obviously, I'm not eating anyone's liver or pulling anyone's liver out. So that was that bonus episode. Now I got a special treat for you as well. This is just part 1. There is another part. Later in that week, I tried recording more of these types of stories. And it was too long. It actually didn't fit with the tone of the episode. This was supposed to go at the end of the last episode of the season. So stay tuned, because soon you will be able to listen to Jason Carpenter, Human Hunter, Part 2. Or, I guess it'd probably be Jason Carpenter, Human Hunter, The Revenge. Actually, that is a good title, because that actually does kind of come into play. Hope to see you guys then. And if you don't see me, I'll be seeing you as I'm hiding in the bushes, looking for my next victim.